There's a new Gomer Goof comic out, but more about that later. If you can't wait to hear me talk about it, I'll put a timestamp in the video so you can skip the first part. Hi, I'm Annie and it is Eurocomic Thursday. This means it is Thursday, and every Thursday I will talk about a European comic or graphic novel. And this time I'm talking about Gomer Goof. And Gomer Goof is a character created by Franquin, a French comic book artist, and he is absolutely, in my opinion, a brilliant comic book artist. Not only his drawings are just brilliant, but his jokes, it's a gag strip, comic strip. His jokes are absolutely funny as I don't know what. To make a comparison to the new Gomer Goof comic that is just out, was released last year. I read also an older comic, and that was Mind the Goof. That was published back in 1966. Yeah, way back was that. And it is really an excellent Mind the Goof is really not the first Gomer Goof comic that was published, but it was the first Gomer Goof comic that was translated into English. The French version was published, was the third album, published in 1966, and it took a lot of decades till 2017, I think, when the English translation was published. So who is Gomer Goof? Gomer Goof is an office boy or an office clerk who doesn't take his job too seriously, to the frustration of his chief and of his boss. The stories are set at the magazine Spirou. Franquin Spirou was a real comic magazine that was published way back in the 1950s for the first time. And Gomer Goof, instead of working, he invents all kinds of nonsense. And he means well, but it always ends up in a comical disaster. And rereading Mind the Goof, the stories that are set in the 1960s are still very funny. They still hold up in the present day. This really, well, I can highly recommend Mind the Goof and other Franquin comics as well. So, how did this character start? How did Franquin came up with it? Well, originally the original idea was by Ivan Del Porte, and Ivan Del Porte was the editor of the comic magazine Spirou, and he was searching for a character who could accompany a column. There were regular columns published in this magazine as well, and he wanted a character to introduce these columns. So he thought Gaston, which is the French name for Gomer Goof, was a really funny name because he was acquainted with somebody who was called Gaston, and he was so clumsy that he thought this was funny. So André Franquin and Jidehem, who also was did co-write the jokes in the earlier Gomer Goof comics. Anyway, they created Gaston, this Gomer Goof. So first there were just the one or two illustrations near the column, but soon he got his own joke comic strip, and he became so popular that I think in 1960 his gags was published in album format as well. And they were extremely popular. And if you read Gomer Goof, Mind the Goof, then you can see why that is. The jokes rely more on the physical aspect of the joke than on text. And that is also what the problem is with this new Gomer Goof album. It is, I'm holding up the Dutch edition as I don't think there is an English edition translation yet available, but I will keep you posted when this will happen, because this is reasonably a good revival, or what do you call it, new series. If this one sells well, there probably, no doubt, will be an English translation as well. So why am I a bit doubting about calling this a good revamping of Gomer Goof? I think the jokes rely a little bit too much on text. There are some physical jokes in it as well, and they're okay, but some jokes, they rely a bit too much on text, to my taste anyway. And I thought this was the lesser thing of this album. But I think Delaf, who was Canadian, by the way, and not French, who made this, Franquin died, so he could make a new Gaston, a new Gomer Goof comic. So Delaf, the Canadian comic book artist, wrote the gags and made the drawings, which he did very good, because I can't see the difference between Delaf's illustrations and Franquin's illustrations, so he did an excellent job at that. I think Delaf realized that the one-page jokes were not as good as when Franquin did Gomer Goof, because from page 37, I think, till the last page of this comic, it's one ongoing story. There are jokes spiced in between, so every page has its own jokes, but it's one ongoing story, and I think this was just excellent. Sometimes you have to think of a different way if you're not as good as the original, and I can't blame Delaf for not getting the one-page jokes just as brilliant as Franquin would have done, because Franquin was just absolutely brilliant. So I don't blame Delaf for that. Now, I read that there was a little bit of a problem publishing this new edition, because the daughter of Franquin started a lawsuit because her father, André Franquin, had said that he didn't want the series to be continued after his death. But there were also things, and there is evidence, that he also during his life contradicted himself more than once. So what if he liked a revamping of Gomer Goof at the end? Well, maybe his daughter knows best, I don't know. But she, as you can see, she lost the lawsuit because Franquin sold, I think 5 years before his death. Anyway, he sold the rights to Marsu Productions, who was the publishing company of not only Gomer Goof, the French Gomer Goof, but also of some of his other comics as well. So the man is dead, so you can't say for sure, but I think he probably wouldn't have sold the rights if he didn't want the series to be continued. And I thought the judge was really considerate and just one, because he arranged it that the daughter of Franquin got a say in the contents of this new Gomer Goof comic. So I think the solution was, it was a reasonably, well, it was a good solution, and I would like to see more of these types of comics, and I would prefer it if the stories were 1 or 2 ongoing stories with jokes spiced in between, because I think that is the strong point of Delaf. And as I said, the illustrations are just like Franquin's. I can't see the difference. It's equally brilliant as well. So I will keep you posted. Subscribe to my channel if you like to see more of these types of videos. Visit my channel page if you like to see more comic related videos, but I have also videos about lesser known not regular novels and non-fiction. So if you want to see more of that, please visit my channel page and like the videos you enjoy watching, as it helps my channel out a lot, and it helps to get the lesser known novels and comics and graphic novels spread to a wider audience, so more people can enjoy them, because there are, well, so many undiscovered or reasonably lesser known novels waiting to be read. As always, thanks for watching.